I think if you ask any Arizona Cardinal fan, most of them will tell you that this rookie class is shaking out to be pretty darn good. Today, we're going to go ahead and grade out the entirety of the 2023 Arizona Cardinal rookie class. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack the like button on this video and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. We are covering this team for the entirety of the offseason, rumors, latest player acquisitions, as well as the draft. There's going to be a lot of news coming our way, so definitely don't forget to subscribe it up and put your post notification bell on as well, just so you're aware when we drop the next video. Alright, everybody, before we get started here and grading out the entirety of the 2023 rookie class for the Arizona Cardinals, a couple different news I want to drop here your way. Now, Zach Ertz, former tight end of the Arizona Cardinals that was released during the season, obviously coming off an injury. He is now signing with the Detroit Lions, most likely going for hopefully another Super Bowl ring to put under his resume. So, good luck to him. And not just that, the Chicago Bears is a team that we're following very, very closely throughout this offseason because they are holding that #1 overall pick. There was rumors out there, or actually there was a report that came out that said that they were actually interviewing former head coach Cliff Kingsbury for their OC position, but that ended up not working out here for Cliff Kingsbury. I believe they ended up signing Shane Waldron from the Seattle Seahawks. So that whole speculations about maybe, Caleb Williams going to the Chicago Bears, although still out there, it doesn't really seem that Cliff Kingsbury is going to be linked to the Chicago Bears anymore. Right, everybody, let's go and dive right into the grades here for the Arizona Cardinals 2023 rookie class. Now, like I said in the intro, I really do feel like this rookie class has shaken out to be pretty good for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, whether that is because of opportunity, we don't really know, right? I know a lot of these rookies here, they got the opportunity because this roster just in general that was put together was not the best roster in terms of depth. So a lot of these guys got a fair crack at it. And I think for the most part, I think all 9 of them had a real good opportunity to kind of show out here for the 2023 season. Now, one thing I want to kind of mention here as well, like in terms of opportunity, we probably wouldn't seen, Trey McBride without opportunity of, unfortunately, Zach Ertz ended up going down. We ended up seeing him becoming a dog and really excited about his future. So, sometimes these rookies just need opportunity. So let's dive into these grades, shall we? Let's first start off here with our first round pick, 6th overall, chosen to the Arizona Cardinals, and that is none other than offensive tackle Paris Johnson Jr. Now, I go ahead and give him an absolute A. Now, the way that this all shook out, the Cardinals ended up trading out of their very first pick, and then they ended up trading back and still getting their guy here in Paris Johnson Jr. I think this guy's an absolute bona fide stud. Now, to me, heading into this draft, I was really high on Will Anderson Jr., but I think one of the most important things was to obviously address the trenches, and I get it, offensive tackles aren't as flashy, but they are very important, especially if you want to, keep your quarterback upright. So I still do think that Paris Johnson Jr. was a very good pick for the Arizona Cardinals. And man, did he have most of the snaps here at the right tackle position. Now, what I would love the Cardinals to do is actually move him to the left side in the 2024 season and then figure out what we're going to do here in the right tackle, because Paris Johnson Jr. coming out of the draft played both positions and he was mainly moved to the right side because obviously DJ Humphries, but with what has happened to DJ Humphries at the end of the season, there's a lot of speculations on what's going to happen with him and then what might happen here with Paris Johnson Jr. So I would move him over to the left and then worry about the right, but I would absolutely give this man a A. I think he did a very good job for the Arizona Cardinals and was a solidified piece in that offensive line for weeks and weeks, and I think he was playing every single snap, if not most of the snaps here for the Cardinals here at the right tackle. So very good job for this rookie offensive tackle to kind of come in here and really kind of put a staple point, right, in terms of being a solidified piece for the future. So really excited about what Paris Johnson Jr. is going to do for the future. Let's move on to the next pick, and that is going to be none other than 2nd round pick BJ Ojulari, outside linebacker. Now, I was really happy that the Cardinals ended up drafting him, and honestly, I think that my excitement is still kind of there. Now, he actually played a good dosage of this year pertaining to, just being available for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, obviously, in the beginning of the season, he had very, very limited snaps, but as the season went on, he was playing a lot more, right? Now, the way that the Arizona Cardinals defense worked, we were kind of like a swing by committee in terms of the outside linebackers. We had so many different people with potential, right? Whenever you think about it, BJ Ojulari, Victor Dimukeje, Cam Thomas. So we had a lot of people with potential. So we didn't see BJ Ojulari to his fullest potentials because he didn't get that much opportunity other than the tail end of the season, but I would still give BJ Ojulari a B-. He had 4 sacks, 23 solo tackles. I think he did a pretty darn good job. Now, I know there's a lot more people that wanted more production out of him, but the way that our defense is, it's really kind of hard to give him all that opportunity because I think the Cardinals really wanted to see who's going to be our guy moving forward, right? And I really do have faith that maybe BJ Ojulari might be that guy moving forward. So I'm excited about his future. Definitely give him a B- there. Let's move on to the next guy, and that is going to be our first third-round pick, and that is going to be none other than Garrett Williams. Now, I'm going to go ahead and chalk him up to a C. Now, for Garrett Williams, he did miss a total of 8 games of the season, but the first 6 games was due to a prior injury. Now, most Cardinal fans knew when we drafted him, this guy was going to be probably a first-round pick because of his injury. He ended up falling to the Arizona Cardinals in the 3rd round, which honestly, I still do think it's a steal. Now, his stats is 19 solo tackles, 1 interception. Now, that 1 interception came from his debut game, and honestly, when that happened, most Cardinal fans were super, super high on Garrett Williams. And now, I have been super high on Garrett Williams in this 2023 draft. It's just, I kind of feel like the injuries kind of plagued him. Now, like I said a little earlier, he missed a total of 8 games. Those first 6 games were due to a prior injury, but he still missed a total of 2 games after that due to injury. Now, like I said, no fault to his own. I'm really still excited to see what his future is going to be for the Cardinals because we still need to get that number 1 corner, and I'm hoping that Garrett Williams is going to take that next step in his 2nd year. Rookie years, it's really, really hard to evaluate rookies, right? But honestly, in terms of production, I know it's only 1 interception, but at the grand scheme of things, I'm really, really excited to see what he's going to be and how he's going to blossom for the future. So I will give Garrett Williams a C, but a very, very respectable C. So let's move on over to the 2nd, 3rd round pick for the Arizona Cardinals, and that is going to be none other than Michael Wilson. Now, I give this man a C+ because honestly, I think he did a pretty good job for his rookie season. Now, he had a total of 3 quarterbacks, playing for the Arizona Cardinals, so that's not a fault to him, but, obviously he had to play with Josh Dobbs. Clayton Tune was also thrown in the mix as well, and then obviously Kyler Murray. The Kyler Murray and Michael Wilson connection didn't really seem to be there until like the end of the season. I mean the very, very end, which is really concerning, but in the grand scheme of things, Michael Wilson, I think most Cardinal fans are excited to see what he can actually blossom into. He's a big, big guy. I think over 6'2". If not, he is 6'2". So a guy that I'm hoping that our wide receiving core is going to shake out to be prototypical type wide receivers. Right now, I don't mind the speedy, small wide receivers, but we can't have our entire wide receiving core based off of that type of wide receiver, right? We need those big bodied guys, and Michael Wilson is hopefully a first piece to kind of fall to really show that, hey, we do truly need guys like this that's going to be able to give you your 50-50 ball, right? Now, his player stats, for the 2023 season was a total of 565 yards, 3 touchdowns, 38 receptions, but the biggest knock on Michael Wilson is that he missed a total of 5 games. So he did have injury concerns when we actually drafted him, but honestly, I was just excited that we got a wide receiver that was over 6 foot tall, right? So that's why I was really, really high on Michael Wilson coming out of Stanford. But honestly, in the grand scheme of things, missing 5 games, it sucks, but I'm excited. Let's see what Michael Wilson does, but I do give him a C+. I think he absolutely deserves it. Can he have had a better rookie season? Yeah, of course, right? If he didn't miss those 5 games and we didn't have so many quarterback changes, he probably could have had maybe 800, 900 yards, right? But grand scheme of things, he did miss a total of 5 games, but honestly, with what he did for the Cardinals being available for when he was, I still do think his play was pretty darn good. Let's move over to our next round pick, and that is going to be our 4th round pick, and that is none other than John Gaines II. Now, I do go ahead and give him a D, and I know there might be some people out there that say, give him an F, right? But I don't blame this guy. I really don't. I think JG as well as Monty Austin are very, very high on offensive guard John Gaines. Now, when he was drafted, he was kind of, I guess, sold to us as a guy that's either able to play guard or center. So I'm excited about this guy's upside, but it's very, very unfortunate that we really didn't see very much of John Gaines II. He was actually hurt in the preseason and he was done for the entirety of the year. So I do give him a D. I don't think I actually give anybody an F if I'm not. I might have to go through these again, but I give him a D, a very respectable D. I think there's a lot of promise with this young individual. Maybe he can be a guard for the future, or heck, maybe he can be the center for the future for the Cardinals moving forward. So I give this guy a D. I don't really have too much to say other than that because he was hurt through the entirety of the 2023 season. So let's move on over to our 5th round pick, and that's going to be none other than Clayton Tune. Now, Clayton Tune, I gave him a D+. Obviously, I think the first time and the one time he actually started against the Browns, it was definitely a game to forget. I guess that's the best way to describe it. Man, Clayton Tune had a very, very rough time with that Cleveland defense, and I don't blame him, right? He kind of got thrown into the fire. The way I would have actually loved this season to shake out was I hope that they didn't actually trade for Josh Dobbs. I truly don't. When we drafted Clayton Tune, we're talking about a prototypical quarterback that I really hoped he got the opportunity. But unfortunately, because we ended up trading for Dobbs, Dobbs was literally slated in there and kind of took all the reps, right? So his development really wasn't able to get to the level that we all kind of hoped that Clayton Tune was able to get, right? Only had one start and it was historically bad. And I really do feel bad for Clayton Tune getting a bad rep because that's what people remember, right? Your one opportunity and you really look bad. His player stats for this season is 62 yards, 2 interceptions, and he did have 1 rushing touchdown. I believe that was against the Atlanta Falcons, I believe, if I can remember correctly. But, one thing that does come from having Clayton Tune is that whole Tune push, right? Obviously the tush push, but we call it the Tune push. It is really kind of cool to see a big prototypical quarterback being able to get you that 1 yard that you need. We got a touchdown, and I believe we got another 1 yard trying to convert a 4th down. So it's cool to have him. I'm not going to give him an F. I don't really blame him too much. It's all due to opportunity, like we said earlier, right? And this kid really didn't get the opportunity. I wish he actually started the first games and not getting Dobbs, but I don't blame this coaching staff for doing it. I do believe that they truly believed that Dobbs was going to give him more production than he did. But kudos to Dobbs, but I really wish I saw this kid to start the season and then obviously transition over to Kyler Murray when he was healthy. So I give him a D+. Let's move on over to the next guy, and that is going to be none other than linebacker Owen Papo. Now, we didn't really see him very much at all. The last 3 games of the season, now keep in mind, we were going through so many injuries. I feel like every week there was an injury, right? Somebody was being placed on IR, and I think that Owen Papo actually really benefited from the last 3 games. He actually played more than 50% of the snaps for the last 3 games, but his total stats is 5 solo tackles. That's it. He didn't really do very much for the Cardinals, but it is also based off opportunity. I give him a D-. We didn't really see him a lot, and maybe not a fault to his own, but it is what it is, right? So let's move on over to the next guy, and that is going to be our 6th round pick, and that is going to be Kei'trel Clark, chosen 180th overall to the Cardinals. Now, he's a cornerback, obviously rookie. I give him a D, had a total of 37 solo tackles. He actually started the first 6 games of the season, and honestly, as a Cardinal fan, I was actually pretty excited for him. I was like, yeah, get your way, right? And then we saw kind of a lot of interviews from Kei'trel Clark, so it almost kind of seemed like the Cardinals were truly bought in and giving this kid an opportunity for the 2023 season. But after the first 6 games, he got benched. Now, we did see him a couple other times, or a few other times, were the remaining parts of the 2023 season due to injuries, but he never really had a solidified game where we're like, yes, boom, this guy is going to be a focal piece for the Cardinals moving forward. He might, right? He might be a guy that's going to be serviceable as a depth player more than anything, or maybe a 3rd string cornerback for the Cardinals, but it sucks that Kei'trel Clark kind of got thrown into the fire, didn't really have a chance to develop in a way where, learning off the field, he was literally thrown into the fire, and sometimes that helps out people, but I don't know. I feel like that his play for the first 6 games really was the attribute in terms of why he ended up getting benched. So I give him a D, no fault to his own, but man, sometimes it doesn't translate. But we'll see. I mean, maybe he might blossom next year. We'll see. Now let's move on over to our last pick of the 2023 draft, and I give Dante Stills an absolute A-. I feel like this guy was sneaky good for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you look at his stats, it's not as impressive as maybe the grade is going to reflect. But in the grand scheme of things here, ladies and gentlemen, with where he was picked, I think that's just the reason why I give him such a high grade as I did, right? I don't think anybody was expecting him to be as good as he was, right? 18 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks. He did miss 2 games, and I believe that last game he was actually moved to IR, which is very, very unfortunate. But man, this man right here, I'm excited to see if he's going to be that focal piece, because when I look at Dante Stills, I see a dog. I see the dog in him, and I know he truly wants to be great. I know he truly wants to be very, very good, and hopefully a focal piece moving forward. So I give him an A-, just because of where he was picked out and the production he gave us. I feel like it was actually pretty darn good. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts here about the 2023 rookie class? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know here in the comments below. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day, and go Cards!